Yazzie,
Hello, my love.
I am so excited to have you on this episode. I feel like what you do is very unique, and the messaging that you give out to ladies is also very unique. So I came up with this question because I really wanted to know the answer to this.
hmm
When you tell people to upgrade their mindset and step into their CEO energy, what exactly do you mean by that?
Okay, I am so excited to answer this question because this is something I've actually been doing a lot of deeper work into myself recently.
Mm.
Now, as we all know, everyone sort of thinks that they can start a business now. It's very online. Like, you can just start a business, travel, you'll be earning 5, 10 grand a month, and it's no problem.
Mm.
No one talks about the mindset journey you have to go on when you're starting a business. So it's going to all come out in the open. Let's say you're starting a business, the imposter syndrome, if you compare yourself, the low confidence, all of these different mindset blocks you could have are going to come directly to the surface
Mm.
because you're doing something so scary. A lot of your friends, a lot of the people around you are probably thinking, what is she doing? And I went through that. So I am so focused on helping, especially young women, decide that they want more in life. So when I talk about stepping into your CEO energy, it's about really embodying the best CEO version of you because anyone could start a business, but what makes a difference between the people that are successful and the people that, maybe get 2 years in and get so burnt out and overwhelmed is the people that have worked on their CEO mindset. So it's building the mindset tools to really, really set yourself up so that you can walk in any room and people are like, who is that? You can really, really have that energy that people gravitate towards you in life, in business. And it's something I'm so passionate about. So that's a little insight. And yeah, it's just so exciting to talk about.
How can someone tell that they've got a CEO energy?
You would know because you've done the work on it, because it doesn't just happen overnight. It happens from building that resilience. It happens from getting told no over and over again and still showing up for yourself. It comes from really having that deep vision.
Mm.
Jay Shetty said something recently that really resonated, and he said, to get 3 steps ahead, you need to go 3 times deeper. So every time you want to move forward in life, you do have to do that inner work to get deeper. Otherwise, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Mhm.
So I think it's so important to spread awareness around mindset because, in school as women, we're not taught how to love ourselves. We're not taught how to build confidence in ourselves and love ourselves as a person. It's, Pythagoras theorem, which
Mm.
when do we use it? So these are the tools that I would love to support, especially women in business, but young women to build and embody and learn.
Mhm. How did you first figure out that you had CEO energy? And I also want to ask, does
Mm.
CEO energy only apply to people who want to start a business, or can it apply to someone who's in the corporate field as
Mm.
well? Someone who's doing a side hustle, a freelancer?
I love this question. So I think for me, I come from a career in sales. So I started in sales when I was 16 in tech sales in London. All my friends were going to college, and I was like, nope, I'm going to go to sales because I want to earn money and I want to travel. So that built a lot of resilience in me from a young age. But when I was younger, I got in quite a bad crowd. So I was drinking, partying, a lot of that, and I just formed some really, really unhealthy habits. I was in very dark places. And it was only when I went to a self love retreat in Bali that everything changed for me. So the day before the retreat, I flew actually from a party hostel that I was working in Thailand to Bali. I'd just gone for a breakup. And then the day before the retreat, which I'd paid nearly 3 grand for, I
Mm.
was in a head on collision with another bike on the back of a boy's bike. And I had my phone, my bank card, everything stolen. Had to go to hospital and woke up the next day having to go to this retreat. Like, how many times am I going to keep self destructing before something happens? Like,
Mm.
it just got so toxic and I just really hated myself. Now I went into the retreat with no phone, no nothing, just literally my backpack and a passport. And that's when I decided to really turn it around for me. I decided, actually, I want to become a better person. I want to turn it around and really think about who I want to be. So long story short, that's how I fell into the mindset space. And one of my best friends sent me a qualification, was like, you'd be amazing as a mindset coach. You'd be amazing at helping other women. So that's where it all started for me. Now coming back onto the CEO energy, I am so passionate about helping young women with self-love. I ended up going into the category of female entrepreneurs because to become a female entrepreneur or a side hustle, a freelancer, or even to get anywhere you want to be in life in your career, you have to have something about you if you want to really excel. You have to have that certain mindset that, you know, even when you get knocked down, even when things are really, really hard, you know what you want in life and you're not going to settle. So that's where I was like, do you know what? I could make a real difference here in helping women that are ambitious, that know that they want, take them to that next step. So yeah, I would say it's not something that everyone, you know, is born with, but it's something that can be unlocked in everyone, especially if you have got that drive and you're open to learning.
What is it about mindset coaching that intrigues you so much?
So this is a funny story, but I remember when I was younger, I said to my mum, I would love to work in psychiatric wards in mental like institutions or in prisons. And I would love to, I don't know what I was thinking at 12, but that's what I wanted to do.
Too many documentaries?
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. And that's what I was saying I wanted to do. I think from when I was younger, I had quite an interesting upbringing where things were quite tough and I felt like I played the parent role for my little brother and just sort of grew up too quickly. So that led me to, you know, when you've got that caring nurture, I would always just want to help anyone in any way I could. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about helping young women, because at that retreat, I could see the two paths. I could see if I carry on down that path, I probably won't be here in another 2 years. Or if I decide to make this change, then I have a quote really ingrained in my brain, which is, what if it all works out? And I had that, like, what if it all works out? What if I could help one girl that feels so broken right now, feels like, you know, maybe it's a toxic relationship or just has no self-confidence. And I have this with my clients when they come to me and they're just like, Yaz, I've just got nothing. I just feel so broken. Or even in like entrepreneur world, I'm working 15 hours a day and I'm not getting anywhere and I'm so unhappy. I was like, what if I could help one girl who feels like that change it around and finally have that love for yourself and, you know, look in the mirror and feel so happy. So for me, that was like, if I can do that, then I'll be the happiest person in the world.
So where did the retreats come from? The idea of taking people on holiday?
This is another one. I feel like I had a really interesting mind growing up. So when I was 16, I said to my dad, I'm going to have my own villa in Ibiza where girls come before their Ibiza holidays. And I used to want to be a PT. So I was like, they'll come have workouts with me. They'll work on their mindset. I have this beautiful villa. And my dad was looking at me like, oh, gosh.
What an interesting place to choose to start off with. Ibiza. People go there to get drunk.
I know. I mean, I was a party girl. But yeah, and my dad was like, yeah, anything you want to do in life. I don't think he ever thought I'd actually do it, but, you know, supportive dad. And I just think from such a young age, like, I think now I keep looking in journals from when I was younger, and I've got journals from when I was 19, 18, and they always say, I'm going to have my own retreats. By the time I'm 29, I'm going to have 2 businesses, one where I'm running amazing retreats and one where I'm helping people. So that core word has always been helping people, especially women. I feel like it's just, sometimes I don't think you can even explain it. Like, I was thinking this morning before this podcast, I just think sometimes you have this deep knowing, like this inner guidance that this is your path, whether it's not always going to be easy, but I just have this deep sense of purpose and I would say commitment. Like, I hold this very seriously, that I commit to making a difference for young women and women and showing a different path. So yeah, it's deep work that I just think you can't force it and it's just part of me. Yeah.
Do you feel like your current business is booming in the way you want it to be booming. I feel like a lot of ladies are doing retreats now, and a lot of ladies are attending these retreats. I'm so intrigued in understanding, what is it about retreats, and is it an area that's booming right now that more people should consider getting into if they want to become a coach or a mentor, etc.?
Yeah, and this is a question I love because it's easy for people to like jump on things. And I've noticed there's a lot more retreats. I think for me, there was a personal reason why. I think where I went on my first retreat at 22, you know, what 22-year-old invests 3 grand nearly in a retreat in Bali? Like, it was crazy of me to do that.
Yeah.
But I just knew I had to do it. And for me, it completely changed my life. Like, that took me from being so broken as a young girl and having no self-love tools, not even understanding all of this stuff that I do today, to changing my life around. And next year, you know, going to be having a very successful booming retreat business and my coaching business from that deep desire. So I think if you have a deep desire for something, you have to follow that. I don't believe you should do things just for the money. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to do retreats because of the money, girl, like, you're going to be in for a shock when you actually, you know, do your first one. And, you know, I'm up 5 a.m. till midnight. The first one was just, you know, absolutely crazy. But you've got to have your heart in it. And my biggest core value is doing everything from a place of love and kindness. I think it's very easy to get washed up in the online, how to earn 5-10 grand a month. But that is, in my eyes, you're never going to get people real transformation unless your heart's truly in it.
Yeah.
So I do retreats from a place of, I would do it for free because I love it so much, and I would love to have space now that I'm fully back in the UK to do more things for charity and young women and, you know, offer that as well. So I just think in anything, if your heart's in it, you know you've got a deep desire for a retreat or why you want to help people, then go for it. I would always say to go on some retreats first. I've been on quite a few retreats, and then I started off just doing a weekend one in England before I moved to a whole shebang abroad, you know, spend thousands on a villa, like that sort of vibe. So I just think there's no harm in like trying things and building up. There's no rush, you know. I think online it looks like we have to build a business in 3 months, but I'm not in a rush. I'm focused on like deep, loving, amazing experiences for people.
So how are retreats normally like? Like, tell me, I'm gonna be a first person going to a retreat in my family, and nobody can tell me, you know, retreats are like this, retreats are like this. What am I going to expect?
Okay, so my retreats especially are focused on deep transformation, deep connection. So, for instance, let's say you meet up with your friend for a coffee. It can end up just being quite surface level. You know, sometimes you'll chat about life, friends, but you very rarely ask each other deep questions. You very rarely get to like the core of your values and you as a person. When you come on my retreats, I am so focused on you having that space to truly open up in a safe space. And that is something as well as a massive value for me, is safe spaces. Because unless your nervous system feels safe to release trauma, to overcome negative beliefs, to even expand your mindset and be like, okay, this is what I want in life, then it's not going to happen. So that is the core part, is like safety, and you feeling really, yeah, safe to go there and go the places you don't want to. And in my mindset work, I have like a 3-step like work through. So it's identify the trauma, the negative beliefs, you know, those fears that you're not good enough. Then we have to rewire them into, what do you want to believe about yourself? You know, if you believe you're not good enough right now, we want you to believe, I am more than good enough to go after whatever career I want in life. And then it's the upgrade stage. So where we are really upgrading your mindset, you know, how you dress, how you walk, how you act, so that you feel like that CEO energy. So coming on a retreat of mine, I will be doing all of that in the background. You won't even notice that I'm doing all the subconscious, you know, programming and everything like that. But a lot of it is in the connections. I'm very selective with, I want to create such amazing groups, and everyone that comes is like, wow, you walk away with the most incredible connections. You walk away with a whole new sense of identity because you've been in a space for, let's say, 5 days where everyone is so excited for you to go after your goals, where you're in these abundant villas and you're dressing as you want to dress and you're getting treatments and sound healings, and just the whole experience is there for you to step into that version of you. So you leave and you're like, yeah, I am that version. So rather than, doing the daily mindset work or things like that, I feel like it's a full like quantum leap.
There's something that you said in what you do that really intrigued me. Going from recognizing the negative mindset to identifying what it is about you that shines, about you that stands out, about you that's different. How does someone make that transformation?
This is a really lovely question. So I would say the first step is being willing to go there. No one wants to, look in the mirror and say, I don't believe that I'm good enough. I think I'm a horrible person. And a lot of the time, that's why I'm so passionate about coaching, is because you sort of need that safe space to feel safe to uncover that. And I think that's why working with me, I'm that safe place from a place as well of I've been in these dark places. I'm not just coming to you on my high horse. I'm like, I've been there. I know how hard it is to bring it up to the surface. I would say the first step is either getting help. So I would love so many young girls to have that space for mindset work or therapy or anything that's going to help them understand it. And one of my favourite tools, if you're doing it on your own, is journaling and asking yourself, being really open and being like, what don't I like about myself? Or what is that negative voice in my head saying? Another tool that's amazing is meditation, allowing yourself to actually be quiet and listen to your thoughts. A really good author is a guy called Michael Singer, and he talks about unlocking those negative voices and like learning about your mind. So I would say being open is the first step. Number two is, getting that support, whether it is through, you can look at my Instagram. I've got lots of journaling and different tools on there. Whether it's going to therapy or, getting that support for you, I think is so important, because the mindset work is so personal. We all have blind spots. So it's really sometimes hard for us to, unlock it. Whereas if you were my client, on our first session, I'd be like, right, what do you actually want? And why don't you believe you're there yet? And I will start to pick up on your negative thoughts and those patterns in the way you speak. So yeah, I know sometimes it can be scary to go there, but I just think being open to it, and even if you're listening to this podcast, writing on the notes on your phone after, or having a journal on, okay, what would I like to be open to? Like, how could I take that first step to explore? Now, when it comes on to the rewiring stage, this is exciting. Like, it's really, really beautiful work, the rewiring stage. And one of my favourite tools to use is to, let's say you have a belief that I'm not good enough, is to write down 20 reasons why you are good enough. I am good enough because I deserve this, because I am a kind person, because I know that I'm willing to go for it in life. And then you can record it on an app called Parrot, and then you can listen to your affirmations. So that's reprogramming your subconscious to believe that actually you do deserve good things in life. Because how many times in life are we programmed to bring ourselves down? As women, it's constant, isn't it? If I told you looked good, most people would say, oh no, I look horrible, or oh no, I this dress is only from Primark. We all bring ourselves down. And it's still so taboo to be like, yeah, I know I look good, because especially in the UK, people are like, oh, you're up yourself then, are you?
Yeah.
So I think it's really, really personal work that, you have to be ready to go there. And the sooner that you decide, actually, I'm going to open up. And I also think the younger you can do it, the more expansive you're going to keep getting, because you're going to, not have as many negative beliefs to rewire through your life. And yeah, it's just a really exciting journey.
Love that. Anna, who's a software engineer, she's asked, can you share a story about a low point in your career and how you managed to come back from it?
Of course. And I would like to share one that's recent, because I think people can maybe put people like me on a pedestal sometimes and think, oh, Yaz has got it easy now. She's got all of this success and lovely businesses and everything going on. but you don't see the behind the scenes as much. And so the first time I went traveling, I had a boyfriend at home, and it ended really toxic. And like I said before, I was in this big bike accident and there was a lot going on. So I had always wanted to go give myself that travel trip again. So this January, I set off. I did 7 months traveling on my own this time. Went all over Thailand, Bali, Australia. I did skydive, van trip, everything. But people glorify the digital nomad life, right? They're like, you can just work from the beach. It's not that easy unless you're really, really, really disciplined. And to be honest, I love when Grace Beverly, if you've heard of her, she's got an amazing podcast. She says, "Are you working hard or hardly working?" I had a hardly working chapter. That 7 months, I was doing my one-to-one clients. I had 2 spaces left for my next retreat, so I wasn't really stressing. I was just living my life. Now, when I come home, I had a massive sort of shock as my income had dropped so much. I was a little bit naive to think, oh yeah, everything will be fine. Just come home and it'll be fine. Whereas when I got home, I was like, okay, right, I'm going to have to rebuild again now. Like, if you're not working on, like, you can have your business, but if you're not working on it, it's going to go down. So for me, when I come home, I had 2 months to fully plan a retreat and also build up my confidence, my coaching business again, and sort of felt like starting again of like, okay, who am I in this next chapter? Because I've always been the travel yaz, the fun, the go, airy fairy. But I know in this chapter, I wanted to make a deep difference. So it's almost like I had to really like change and decide, right, who do I want to be and how can I make those changes? So it was really nice as well to sort of prove to my clients and everyone around me that no matter how like low things get again, you can come out. So I would say, if you are struggling or you're going through a hard time or you're seeing everyone else look like they're amazing, come back to yourself and think, okay, who do I want to be in this next chapter? I feel lucky that I've had to start over again and again and again in life. Like I have, I've got myself into some really bad situations in the past and started again and started again and started again. So this was like, okay, we're just going to start again. Like, who do you want to be and what's going to help you get there? If I want to be this lovely, successful entrepreneur that goes to Pilates and lovely studios and all of that, how can I start now? Do my Pilates from home, really show up for the deeper mindset work, go on Pinterest and look at who I want to be in this next chapter, invest in the support. So I would say, like, even when it looks like people are doing really well, business can be like this, and life can be like this. So just knowing when you are in a down, it's like you're gonna come back up again. And I would say it is your responsibility, and sometimes we want to be in a slog and we don't want to go there, but it's like, okay, get excited again. Who do you want to be? Allow yourself to rewrite your story at any point.
And I think what you said there is key. No matter what happens, you can come back from it.
Yeah.
I was reading Stephen Bartlett's book the other day, Diary of a CEO, and he said that failure equals, so insight, you learn from your failures by getting insight. And then from that insight, you can develop contingency plans to prevent the same thing from happening again. And when you prevent the same thing from happening again, you get success. So failure equals success.
Yeah.
And I think for me, one of the lowest points in building my business was definitely this is the first time I'm actually going to talk about this.
Okay.
I've always had this sense of perfectionism. Everything needs to go this way. And if it doesn't, then shit, I'm done. But so planning my first ever event where I was going to launch the book and invite family and friends, that was the first time I realized, shit, I'm in business for real because this has gone to shit. People are letting me down. People coming up with excuses as to why they can't come. So much money went down the drain. And I was so close to just giving up and being like, what's the point of even building this then? But then I realized, okay, these people aren't necessarily my target audience. Family and friends will love you and support you, but they don't necessarily have to support what you're doing if it doesn't align with the things that they're interested in. And that's something that I had to learn. So again, that failure gave me that insight. And then with that insight, I then made sure to plan another event that was focused on the ladies who are my target audience. And that's going well so far. So coming back to what you said, like no matter what happens, you can come back from it. And even if it feels like a low point at that moment, it's not going to remain that low point forever. You're going to look back at it months, years later and be like, you know what, I'm happy that happened.
Yeah, honestly, and even seeing your next event, I've seen the posters. I'm like, I need to come, and it's
Yes, you
amazing.
need to be there.
I will, babe. Honestly, I couldn't agree more with that, because, like, I think maybe one of my downfalls is because I worked in sales for so long. I was getting told to F off, no, 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 all day long for 6 years pretty much. So I've built up this like resilience of like, okay, things aren't always going to go to plan. Like you're going to get people say no. You're also going to get people that don't like you. And one thing I've seen recently is the more that I've started to like, I would say like Quantum Leap, the retreats was massive for me to do on my own abroad at 25, like so much to organise, so many people to look after. And I'm such a like you, like I want people to have best experiences. So that was a lot of pressure for everything to go really well. And some people don't like to see you doing well. Like I've noticed that since I have started, you know, reaching new heights, people don't like it. And you're going to get people that don't and people that don't like you, and that's absolutely fine. But also just coming back to like, look at you with your next event, and like although it could have really got you down, it's like imagine how amazing the next one's going to be, and the next one and the next one, because you worked through that and you were like, I'm going to go for it. So yeah, I'm so excited for you.
And I think as business owners, we need to be a bit more easier on ourselves. I think when we step out of business mode and we make a mistake in real life, like saying the wrong thing to a friend, or I don't know, like throwing something on the floor by accident or dropping something, you know, we bounce back from that because we know it was just a mistake, and we can learn from that mistake. We know not to do it again. How do we know not to do it again? We create plans. But when we're in business mode, it's like everything needs to be a certain way. And if it doesn't go a certain way, we failed. Why do you think that is?
I would say because a lot of us attach our identity to our businesses. So when you have worked so hard for something and it becomes part of you, so then, you know, it's like your baby. If someone doesn't like it or something doesn't go your way, it goes real deep and real personal. And that is why I am so big on people building an amazing life outside of business. Because what I see a lot of girls doing is spending all hours of the day on their business and starting to lose themselves. So every time something goes wrong or they get a no, it's like, oh my gosh, it's me, I'm the problem, you know, beat themselves up. And I also want to talk about the mindset side of it. There is like, the more that you are knocking yourself down every time you get a failure and thinking you're the worst person, you end up becoming like a shell of a person in a few years if you're not prioritizing the mindset of like how to build that resilience. Because when you're doing that, you're telling yourself, okay, this is me, I'm the problem, I'm not good enough. This person doesn't like me. And if you're not having a space to like release that or journal about it or release it, it's staying inside you and it's really building up. So that's why I'm so like, now I'm home, I'm like, girls, I'm back, I'm here to teach you, I'm here to help you. And yeah, really learn the mindset tools to not take it too personally. But I do think it's one of those that you have to sometimes go through it. And this is what I say to all my clients is like, as soon as you get your rejections, I'm going to be so proud of you of like, you know, we're teaching you how to reframe it and to view it as this is me building my resilience, and rejection is redirection. So, you know, if it's meant for you, it will not pass you by.
No, for sure. Cassandra, who's a software engineer, she's asked, what was your biggest mistake and how did it impact your work or personal life?
Okay, so I feel like in the past, I would say biggest mistake I think in business is I started a podcast really young. I started my podcast when I was like 23, and I used to sort of like put the past version of me down. I used to say I used to be the worst person in the world. I was a terrible person. I did all of these things wrong. And then now I've done a lot of the inner child work. I'm like, that was a version of me that was just healing and had a really hard time. So I would say like my biggest mistake and something that I would say to everyone is like, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up for those past versions of you that didn't know what you know now. That was really, really hard, because when you put podcasts out there, it's out there for life. So, all my content and everything like that, when I first started, I was like, I used to be this terrible person. I used to do all of these bad things and I was awful and this and that. And then, now a few years in, I'm like, oh my gosh, she was just a young girl that was trying her best and, didn't have the tools to learn, didn't know how to be confident in herself, and didn't know that she deserved better in life, and didn't know how to, self-soothe herself and look after herself. So I would say, as a woman, we can be so hard on ourselves. And I think that, if we look back when we were 90 and saw how much time most women spend putting themselves down, you'd be so upset. So I'd say to, build those self-love tools so that your mind is a nice place to be, because you're there all the time.
Did that affect your career later on?
I wouldn't say no. I mean, I didn't ever delete anything. I've just left sort of everything there. And maybe people probably haven't even noticed. People listen and then they carry on with their days. But I would just say, for me, that was a personal, like, now I know what I know. I'm like, oh, she was just, doing her best. So I wouldn't say it affects your career. And I would say the only thing I would say to young girls is you don't have to put everything out there. I think when I started a podcast, I felt like I'd share my whole life and share everything. And now that I am still only 25, but just in a different stage of life, I'm like, okay, you don't have to share everything online. Like, you don't have to share, you can share parts of your private life and different things. But I shared everything on my podcast. And while I believe that's good to be vulnerable, I had people, my aunties ringing me like, Yas, I didn't know you went through that and I'm so sorry. And, it's quite deep stuff sometimes. So I would say to young girls, starting a business, yes, it's so incredible to build a personal brand. And it's so important to share and be vulnerable, but you don't have to share, real intimate parts of yourself.
Was it like an outlet for you?
I would say I wanted to help young girls and be a voice that had gone through, hard things, and especially with guys and things like that. So I would never regret putting it out there, because I do believe there's a purpose. But I would just say now it's, one of those where it's you can have your private life and you can heal in I can't remember the quote, but it's you don't have to share your wounds, you can share your scars.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've always been a private person.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been okay with sharing my mistakes or failures out loud, because I've always felt like if I'm doing that, then I'm looking down on myself. But actually being vulnerable about what you've been through is okay. And my partner and I have a therapist, and he told us once that when you dim your light, you're stopping someone else from receiving that light, someone else who's going to need your help. So I think the thing that I have made a big mistake on is financial irresponsibility. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't talk about that, especially when you're at the beginning stage of starting your business. For me, I grew up in a household where I seen certain people flaunting nice things, wearing nice things, not knowing what they done to get that. But I always thought, okay, if I have that new bag or those new shoes, it equated to value and status. I was important. And so I would focus more on buying those nice things than investing my money into, for example, my business, or, well, this was before I started my business, but I didn't have that mindset of investing into a business, investing into skills, courses, masterminds, things that would help me to develop my mindset so that I can help other people. Mm-hmm. And that reflected a lot on my early stage decisions within the business. I hired the wrong person and a lot of money went down the drain. Mm-hmm. I made impulsive decisions, a lot of money went down the drain. And that had a big effect on the business in the beginning. But because I recognized that was wrong and I needed to do something about it, because I'm CEO now, I can't be making those kind of decisions and just wasting money for no reason, I got into the habit of budgeting, cutting out things that I don't need, treating myself once in a while, but focusing more on pouring it into the things that are going to pay me more in return.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big thing, financial irresponsibility. And like we said, making decisions impulsively. You made a decision impulsively to go on your podcast and start talking about all the things you went through when you didn't have to do that. So I think it comes down to you learning how to be a bit more disciplined and calming down those impulsive feelings that make you feel like you should be making those decisions.
Yeah, I really love everything you said. It's just, it is such a big journey. And, we're still in an age where we're sort of like this whole new generation of the first people that have started all these online businesses. And, it's all so new. So there's never a right or wrong way to do things. And you're going to learn so much along the way. And I think money is such a taboo conversation and people don't want to talk about it. But I think it's so important to be like, open about and be open with yourself about, your money habits and your goals and, investing. If you have got a big goal of like, you want to quit your 9 to 5 right now, it's like, okay, well, where is your money going to be best invested? Even for me in Australia, I started my business at 22, had no money. I was a backpacker and I was a nanny earning £500 a month. So I was like, okay, well, how can I found this business coach that I really wanted to work with, and she was like £700 a month. So I was like, how am I going to afford this and live? So I went and got another job, and I, worked in a cafe as a nanny on the business, started small coaching people for a really discounted rate and built it up. I think sometimes it's like, you have to go that extra mile. And whilst all my friends were living their best Australia life, going out all the time and like, really enjoying it, I was like, no, I'm using this time to build the life I want. Like, I moved from Byron Bay, where I was living and working in a bar and studying, to a place called Noosa, which was 4 hours away on my own. Didn't know a person. Got a bus there on my own to go be a nanny because I knew it would give me the freedom to. For once in my life, I would never have to pay rent. I've paid rent since I was so young. So I wouldn't have to pay rent. I'd have my food where I'd cook for all of them. So I was like, okay, that's my basic needs met. And then I can work on the business. So it's like, I was willing to go, move on my own and go do this crazy thing to make it happen. So yeah, I just think being creative with as well. And I've gone off on a tangent of like, be creative with, if you want something, how are you going to be the one to make it work? Like, what are you going to do different?
Anna, who's also a software engineer, she's asked, looking at your current success, do you feel the sacrifices you made were worth it? And what were they?
Yes, I feel like that relates as well with the Australia story of like, I get told now by so many people around me, like, oh, you're so lucky that you run your own schedule and, you're out doing whatever you want. And, even to look at this week as an example, like this week, me and my best mate run amazing businesses. We went to a founders dinner, stayed in a hotel, met loads of girls that now want to come to my retreat. And then today coming on the podcast, and like my week is full of things that just bring me joy. I'm not having to get in the office at 9. I start work at like 11 most days because I work best from 11. So it's like the sacrifices that I made were, I think the biggest one was having to go against what everyone thought. All your friends and family probably want you to go in a certain route, and I had it safe, a 6-year career in sales by I was 22. I could have gone on probably now be 6 figures, a year easily in sales, but be working 12 hours a day still. Now, when I started as a mindset coach at 22, I remember my dad, after about 6 months, I still hadn't made much money. He was like, are you sure, Yas? Like, come on, do you not think it's better to get a real job? And I just said, no, absolutely not. Put the phone down and just stick with it, because I could see that, what if it all works out? So the sacrifices where people are telling you to stop, people are saying, are you sure it's going to work? Spending a year building it and not really making any money and working hours and hours. Last year even, I had 4 jobs. I was only self-employed from last July. I was I was working as a carer in a gym. I got 2 sales jobs again last year because I was like, I know I need to make this work and I need to make the money to invest in my business. So it's like, yes, I made so many sacrifices, but you know, what is such a small length of time? I've only been in business like 2.5 years, and now next year, you know, I've got 2 amazing businesses with the retreats and the coaching, and I'm so passionate about helping people. And you know, I wake up and I choose my schedule. So you know, it's just so worth it. And even if I wasn't in this place and it didn't go to plan, I know this sounds quite brutal, but even if I died tomorrow, I would be happy because I took the risks and I did something that most people wouldn't ever do, and now I get to reap the rewards.
I feel like sacrifices are trade-offs,
Yeah.
but they're necessary trade-offs. And the hardest decisions to make, most of the time, they're the right ones to make. For me, cutting off family, cutting off certain friends, staying away from certain areas so that I can get my mind focused. To me, that was a very big trade-off to make. However, it was necessary. And it all comes down to, like you said, focusing on where you want to go, where you want to be, the life you're envisioning for yourself, the type of friends you want to be around, the type of career you want to build. It comes down to that. So I agree with everything you've said.
Oh, I love it.
It's nice to hear that we're on the same page about
Yeah,
this.
I feel like we have a similar, like, just happy, want to help
I
people
know,
energy.
no. And I feel like to be an entrepreneur, a CEO, you have to have that energy, especially when you're thinking about scaling a team, growing a team. You have to have that energy. You have to be happy with what you're doing, happy with yourself, happy with your mind, happy with the people you have around you, just happy.
Yeah. And it is so important, and it is hard because I used to people please a lot. So it's like now just like having the different hats, isn't it? Being able to be authoritative and disciplined and, you know, that sort of red, I would say, personality, like know what you want, but also not lose yourself and be a kind person and like I said, like always lead with love. So, you know, when you want to always do the best for people, it's like just getting that. There's never going to be a perfect balance, but just like knowing when to wear each hat. And yeah, just always from the heart. When you do it from the heart, like I just think you'll always succeed in life because you're doing something that you've got, you know, you want to do good, you want to help people. So yeah.
In the beginning, you said that you feel like everyone can start a business. And we've been talking about what it takes to keep going. How does someone know that the idea that they come up with, it's not going well for them? The business isn't going as well as they expected it to, and actually it's going to shit. How do they know that, okay, it's time to give up? And how do they know, okay, this is a hard season, but I need to keep going because in the end it's going to pay off?
So this is where I think it really comes back to that mindset. Because let's say you think it's gonna, like, you're like, right, I'm done, I'm just done. It's like, well, actually, are you done? Like, it could take one little mindset shift of you, like, having that vision again of, like, what if it all works out, for you to redirect your energy. So I never think, like, same with Stephen Bartlett, like, even if you were to decide, okay, this is time to pack it in. I know a lot more, like, people that started when I started a few years ago, a lot more people have actually gone back into the 9 to 5 world now. So it's been really interesting to see that transition, because not everyone is cut out for, it's not just running a business. It's like taxes, if you've got staff, like you've got outgoings, if you lose clients, and let's say that's really impacted you and you might not be able to come back from that. So it's a real personal thing. And that's why I'm so passionate about the mindset, because if, let's say, these things happen to you, when you've got that powerful, like, CEO mindset and you've got those tools to deal with it, you're not just going to give up. You're going to think, okay, that's not personal to me. That's just part of business. How do I learn from this? So having that, like, growth mindset, I think, is really important. But I feel like when it comes to, I wouldn't say it's ever giving up. It's like knowing, I would say, if you are someone that you just can't carry on, you know, you haven't been making money for a few years and you feel like it's just weighing it up, isn't it? Are you at that point now where you've got, your cup is empty, it's like that mindset, you've got nothing left to give, maybe it's time to redirect. But I would say, even if you're there, I've brought people back up again. Like, I've had one of my clients who I actually met for the first time at the event on Thursday that I went to, in January, she was about to pack in her business. She had been doing it for a year, had no clients, lost her one client, and was so unhappy in herself, really, really just wanted to give up on it all, and in so many ways than one. And I brung her back. I was like, well, okay, what do you want? Like, let's dive deep into it and dive deep into the person you need to become. And it took a long time. She said to me, I could never even look in the mirror before working with you, Yaz. I just hated what I saw. I hated everything about me. And we brought it back up. Now she is about to move into her dream home. She's got her dream clients, earning really good money, about to quit her 9 to 5. And the biggest thing is how happy she is and confident in herself. So it's like, that's why I'm so passionate about the mindset space, is like, I've seen people and myself come from the barrel to like change their life. So yeah.
Let's end with something lighthearted.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a very deep conversation that we got into.
Yeah.
So we're going to end with our standard game round of hire, be mentored by, or ghost.
Okay.
So you're going to put into each category who you would hire to be a part of your team, who you would be mentored by, and then ghost.
Okay.
So The Weeknd, Nella Rose, Kelly Rowland.
Ooh. Who's Nelly Rose?
You don't know who Nella Rose is?
No.
The black YouTuber who makes videos of Young Philly, Harry
really?
Pinero.
Okay.
You don't know.
Maybe I would dump her because I don't know her. So mean.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'm so bad with some like on YouTube. I feel like I'm in my little world of like.
You're so funny. Okay.
And then the other is dump. No, I've done dump. So the other is hire, and who would mentor me.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably get The Weeknd to mentor me because I feel like he's just everywhere, isn't he? And he's done so many cool things, and I love Canadians as well. I just think he's got a really cool energy.
Oh, he's Canadian?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was American, like Native American.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Next.
Yeah, and then Kelly Rowland, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. To mentor me, I would say. I feel like that was a really hard one because I feel like
Do you know why you've put them in each category? You just randomly putting
yeah,
them.
I feel like for me, because I don't like none of them I've got like a real like draw towards. Do you know what I mean? Some of it like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, them ones I'm a bit like, I don't know.
All right, let's try the next one. Hopefully we've got luck. Okay. Jay Huss.
Okay.
Jude Bellingham. I don't know if you know this one. Patricia Bright.
Patricia Bright. No. This section's going to be fun.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm crying. So between Jay Huss and Jude, who would go in which category?
Okay.
Oh, yes, you're killing me today.
I always end up just bringing, all my friends think I'm like, they all call me like the granny of the mate because they're like, Yas is at home reading her Kindle with a cup of tea. She doesn't really understand what most people are doing. And Jude is the footballer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yay. I got one.
Hold on, let's just pause so that my eyes can like.
Do you know what? I think Jay Huss just brings the energy.
Oh, he does.
He's so good. So I think I'd get him to mentor me. And then hire Jude to just, I would say as well, actually, because you'd be so disciplined, wouldn't you, with what he's done. So maybe hire Jay Huss for the bounce and just the fun, and then get mentored from Jude for the discipline, for the go get a drive in life. Because I would say with footballers, they've got the confidence, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. Kim K,
Okay.
Chris Brown, Lionel Messi.
Oh, well, I know all of these. I would dump Chris Brown, I think, personally, because I just feel like Kim K and Lionel Messi, it's like three, really amazing people. But Kim K, I would get mentored by, because I feel like not that she's underestimated, but like with her law degree, she's done so many amazing things, even like with all marketing and everything. So I think I would get mentored by Kim K and work with Lionel Messi, because he would be very He would be on it, wouldn't he? I feel like he would get the job done.
Yeah, he would, definitely. Okay. Stormzy,
Oh, I love.
Idris Elba, Mbappe.
Okay. I would get mentored by Stormzy because I just love him. I just think he's amazing. And I just feel like he's one of those people that, you know, when someone's just got something so special about them, like what he's done and created is very inspiring. And I feel like even if you like read a documentary or listened to watched a documentary or read one of his books, I feel like there's so much you probably don't know, what I wouldn't know about him that he's achieved. So I would love to get mentored by him. I would ditch Bappy, because I don't know who it is again.
The footballer.
Yeah, see, I'm not very good with football.
You know Jude?
Yeah, I know Jude, but I'm not very good with footballers.
He's the French one, the French footballer.
Bappy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ditch him because I don't know who he is. And who's the other one? I knew in my head I wanted
Idris Elba.
Yes, so he would just, again, you can tell by me, I like the vibey people. He would bring the energy and the fun, and I feel like he's done so many things as well, hasn't he? So yeah.
Perfect. Well, Yaz, thank you for joining me today. I feel like we had a really insightful, deep conversation, and yeah, I've taken a lot away from what you said. Tell everyone what's next, what you've got coming up, and where they can find you.
Amazing. So my Instagram is Yasmin Hilsdon. And I always say pop over to my Instagram because that's my passion. I love being active on there. What I've got coming up, which I'm so excited about, is my next retreat for female entrepreneurs between Monday the 11th and Friday the 15th of May. Have a look at my Instagram if you're someone that's new to retreats or you'd like to come. I always say just message me, and I always give people calls so we can talk about it and just talk about your reasons. And I've opened my one-to-one coaching spaces again. So if you have listened to this podcast and you know that you're someone that wants to explore that mindset work, I know for me, I like to invest in personal support so I can understand me. So I love being that person for other people. So yeah, if you know you want to go deeper, then message me and on Instagram and we can chat. But yeah, just really excited to be home. I was traveling on and off for 3 years. So yeah, it's so nice now. I've got a lovely boyfriend and really settled. So it's just exciting to, like you, run more events, retreats and, you know, real in-person stuff because I just think it's so special.
And you have an event coming up, don't you?
Yeah, so Friday the 7th of November, it's called the Empowered Entrepreneur Party. So I'm celebrating everyone and their businesses because we don't celebrate enough. So yeah, it's going to be so fun. I think I've got about 7 tickets left. So yeah, if you see this before the party and you want to come, then message me.
Definitely.